Hi, everybody. My name is Javier. I am a free tax prep tax manager. And with me, I have Liz, who is a free tax prep tax assistant. And today we're going to be covering the intake manager training. So, what are the benefits of volunteering with the VITA program? So, we provide quality and honest tax services to a family in need. We connect families to other great services at our center. We help our local economy bring back more credits to LA. And we also meet other volunteers and clients, as well as learn something new at our sites every single year. Volunteer with KYCC, we provide refreshments, we support our volunteers with experience staff as well as volunteers. We provide them with volunteer recognition and events at the end of the tax season. And we also provide lunch for Saturdays. We have convenient schedules such as in the afternoon and evening, as well as Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you pretty much have the luxury of signing up on your own. And you do this by signing up online on Volunteer Hub. We also have large capacity for 8 to 10 computer stations for tax preparers and 4 to 6 intake specialists. Our KYCC sites consist of Koreatown Youth and Community Center, which is our main site, and Koreatown, located on Harvard and 6th. We also have Breezy Foundation, also in Koreatown and located on 2nd and Vermont. And we have special tax day events with offsite and strategic partners such as Los Angeles City College and Carge Family Service Center and Boys and Girls Club. In order to volunteer at our sites, we do require our volunteers to be certified. This means that all volunteers must pass the volunteer standard of conduct, intake, interview, and quality review, which includes 10 questions. And if you decide to be a tax preparer, you can do the certification up to basic, advanced, or even have the option of doing the circular 230 for licensed professionals. This is for tax attorneys or CPAs. The available resources that we have hard copy and PDF. We have publication 4012. This is our volunteer resource guide. And we also have publication 6744, which includes the test and retest to get certified. And yes, this is open book. In order to submit and get certified, this is the website that you'll use, linklearncertification.com. Here you can create an account. If you are a new volunteer or if you're returning volunteer, you can use the same login information in order to submit all of your tests and get certified. Our free tax prep Los Angeles here, you have the ability to attempt the test slash retest on publication 6744, or you can always find it at volunteertaxprep.com. You are going to complete the test online, which is linklearncertification.com. You'll have 2 attempts to pass with 80% or higher. You are required to read and attach a copy of your photo identification and sign the form. You're going to turn in the volunteer standard of conduct agreement to each VITA site that you serve. The Volunteer Protection Act, you can prepare returns and provide advice in the topics that you have been trained and certified in. Never ask for solicited donations or business. Never willfully prepare a return with mistakes or with omitted or unsubstantiated information. This is the volunteer standard of conduct agreement. It will include all of your basic information and the certification level that you have passed. And the document is going to be generated by Link Learn Certification. You will print it out and provide it to the site manager. and the site manager will verify your identity, make sure that it matches this information, and they'll sign off and verify. For every volunteer, we have a volunteer contribution log. This pretty much every site will have a volunteer contribution log, and all volunteers must sign in, out every time they volunteer at any site. There are returns that we cannot prepare at our VITA sites, such as failure to provide valid government photo identification or original social security card slash I-10 card, trying to file a return without the spouse present. If this is the case for married filing jointly, for married filing separately returns, unfortunately, we cannot prepare these tax returns. Um, Self-employed or cash income with business-related expenses over 10,000, or have a loss, taking expenses with no proof, such as receipt, document, mileage, are required. Employees' inventory or business property. With returns that have Visa, F, J, M, or Q cannot be prepared at our site, as well as those with canceled debt income in the forms of 1099-C and 1099-A for foreclosures or short sales. Any handwritten tax document will not be accepted. Rental income, foreign income, royalty income, or income from a partnership corporation that comes in the form of K1 form. Form 1095-A for health coverage through the marketplace with dependents that are not on the return cannot be prepared. Income more than 60,000 will not be prepared. However, we are flexible with the income, and this will be the site coordinator who will determine this. For our scope of service, we can locate this in publication 4012. This will indicate us whether with the taxpayer's information is within the scope of our service or not. So what do clients need to bring when they come to prepare the taxes? All taxpayers must be present with photo identification, original social security cards or I-10s for tax filers and all dependents. They must provide proof of income using the forms W-2 or 1089. They must also provide total cash earned or proof of any expenses. They need to provide proof of all deductions or credits, such as 1098-T for college tuition and receipts for textbooks, letters from child care providers, mortgage interest, plus property taxes, proof of donations. They must provide Form 1095-A, FTB 3895, if they purchase health insurance through the marketplace, such as Cover California. And if required, they must provide the IRS identity protection pin letter if they've been a victim of tax-related identity theft. If they would like to receive direct deposit, we do require bank account and routing number. And although this is not required, but it is very useful, we do ask our taxpayers to come and provide us with the previous year's tax return. There are exemptions if a taxpayer forgets their social security number or they don't have a social security card. Yes, we can prepare these returns with an I-10, or we can also use Form 1099 SSA with a complete social security number, a letter or statement from the IRS with the client's name and complete social security number. We can also use a copy of last year's tax return. This is only the case for KYCC. And we could use the Medicare card if it includes the client's name and the social security card number. These are some most common exemptions for the SSN. This is the social security number. some clients might not be eligible for a social security card number, so they are eligible to file for an I-10. On the left side, you see an example of the letter that they will receive, which has their personal information, including the I-10 number that they could use for tax filing purposes. On the right side, you'll see Form SSA 1099, which is for Social Security benefit statement. And if it includes the Social Security number, then we can use it. So the VITA workflow process starts with the appointment leads who call clients to screen their eligibility and book an appointment. Then they get moved on to the intake process, which they help them to register, gather all the documents, and complete intake forms. And after that, they will be taken to the tax preparer who will perform interviews and prepare the tax return. After the tax preparation process is complete, a quality reviewer will make any corrections and provide the feedback on the tax return. We have various intake specialist positions on our site. First, we have greeter. Next, we have intake room. Third, messenger. And fourth, copy room. And now next, Liz will be going on to talk about these positions.
Now, let me go over how to process for intake each step. So there were 4 positions for one-side intake, greeter, intake room, messenger, and copy room. So let me provide the detailed duty each position for one-side intake specialist. The first position is for a greeter. And the greeter duty for the first, set up the station and number client folder before client and greet the client and then confirm client appointment. So how you can find the appointment? And we have appointment scheduler. They already set up the appointment with taxpayer and then we print it out based on appointment record. So let me show the example how to check the appointment schedule for the next slide. And when client walk in and appointment time, you can confirm their appointment schedule and help client to sign in. And then please ask the required question to determine the eligibility and collect all documents before going to intake room. And then label the client folder. And I will also provide the example how to label client folder. This is the view how to check the appointment schedule. And you can find the detailed schedule with including appointment time, each site name, client name, phone number, and language preference. We provide the intake service for English, Korean, and Spanish client. So you can assist the client depending on your language proficiency based on this form. So this is an example how to make a folder to put all documents from client. On the top, please write down client last name and first name with spouse if marriage filing status, and then write down some information including certification level, client language, phone number, and rent status. So no appointment. When client sometimes walk in the site without an appointment, and we will determine if any walk-in or how many can be accepted, and we usually have tight schedule each 30 minutes, and client usually do not cancel their appointment. So we highly recommend the client should contact this number 323-909-1975. This line is for scheduling for VITA. Or client can visit the website volunteertaxprep.com to schedule the appointment. And next position is for intake room. An intake room duty. And first, please welcome the client to the intake room. And you mainly work with the client during this process. We have 2 different type of intake form. It's English, Spanish, especially for Korean. We provide the translated form based on original one for English. And then hand the client to two intake form. One is 13614C intake, and we also provide interview form regarding rent status, health insurance, and bank account information, and so on. If client is self-employment or has a cash income, and we provide a form to put the required information, including income expenses. And then please work with the client to fill out the intake form, and please get familiar with the question and know how to answer the question and all documents. And the next, please collect complete intake form, including document, and give them to the messenger. Before going over regarding actual intake form, I would like to ask what is form 13614C? And I briefly mentioned about this form through previous slide. The purpose to prepare a complete and accurate tax return. This form has been designed and also to help preparer avoid common error. IRS update every year to reflect the procedure and tax law changes, and every question must be answered depending on client status. And I also would like to provide some tip, and please provide a clear instruction how to complete this form. For new client, please, actively work with them. And then again, please familiarize with yourself with this form. This is an actual form, the intake, interview, and quality review sheet. So let me go over how to complete intake form with your client. There are 4 pages, and the last page is only for signature. The first page, there are 3 parts. Each part, I would like to focus on what we need from client. Part 1 is for personal information, and part 2 is for marital status and household information. This is the part 1 for the first page regarding personal information. We just need the name, mailing address, and the date of birth, something like that. And especially question number 10 and 11, the highlighted part, I'd like to take a time because you should check with your client. Number 10, can anyone claim you or your spouse as a dependent? Someone claim taxpayer or spouse as a dependent, we could not prepare the return because the return will be rejected by IRS. This is a process kind of like a determination process. And number 11, have you or your spouse or dependent been a victim of tax-related identity theft or been issued an identity protection PIN? And if client or spouse or dependent who has been a victim of tax-related identity theft, the person should be receive a letter from IRS including an identity protection PIN number. So client should bring the letter with PIN number. So part 2, marital status and household information. It is an information to figure out the filing status, and please let client to check the right box for marital status. And especially number 2 for household information, most of error occur when dependent information is not confirmed. If client claim dependent, that means should provide the detailed information including date of birth, relationship with taxpayer, citizenship status, and so on. to determine the eligibility for dependent if necessary. An intake specialist will ask additional question. This is the shadow part from the right side. And there are some case for the misunderstanding to fill out this form. For example, if client has only someone who live with and does not provide any information for filing a tax with client, and no necessary to fill out the part. So just let the part blank. And the second page is for all document which client bring. So please work with your client, especially this part. It seems like a complicated, but not, because it simply mark yes document which client only bring. The first part is regarding income. And for example, taxpayer receive W-2 form from an employer. Please check yes and number 1 from income section. And the second part is for expenses. For example, client is a full-time student and brought 1098T for education expenses. Please check yes at number 3. So I also would like to mention about B or A from this page next to number each question. B means for basic level, A means for advanced level. So we already provide a brief information about certification level. We have 2 levels of tax preparer depending on the level of certification. And person who only receive a certification level A, the person only prepare the level A based on document which client to bring. And in addition, and when client to check unsure about some question, and please ask the reason, and then please provide the instruction, because the client should answer yes or no about the question. So third page is for only for additional information and question relating to preparation, including language preference and demographic information. Position 3, messenger. And volunteer who has been assigned for messenger duty, the person should gather the intake form with document and deliver client folder to copy room, and then organize client folder in numerical order based on basic and advanced level for tax preparer. And one-side intake position, copy room. And copy room duty, there are many points to make sure for copy room duty. And first, make sure each folder has taxpayer ID, social security card or ITIN, and income document. And second, make copies one folder at a time. Do not mix your client document with another client document. And when making copy, make sure date of birth on ID card are completely visible and not cut off. And make sure all documents are inside the folder after making the copy. And then please make sure there is always paper in the copy machine. And return the original document to client, including photo identification, social, and client folder to each section. So I would like to provide a useful tip for you. And first, tax time can make people nervous. A smile can go a long way. And if a client has several or unorganized documents, please ask them to sort them out in the intake room, then return them to you. And if a client asks you a tax question, politely remind them that you are not a preparer and they should save the question for the tax preparer. And always ask for help. You are not expected to know everything. If a client does not bring everything, We can start the return and finish one another day when everything they need. And sign up to volunteer early. And if you cannot make it, please cancel your RSVP. And please keep cell phone users to a minimum. So I think this is all information for intake process. So hopefully you enjoy today's training. If you have some question, and please reach out to me. And thank you for attending today's training, and have a good day.